So if you've watched my previous video, you know that I believe that most law school advice is misguided. I also believe that most people mean well. Many people are not trying to intentionally give you poor advice. They're just misinformed. So today I've decided to give you the best piece of advice, the first step you need when you're going through this law school application process, which is how to use the LSAC website. Now, to many people this may seem simple, but to myself, this alone was a big task. If you're someone that's been out of school for a while, or you're someone who doesn't have a pre-law advisor on your undergraduate campus, this could be a lot. Just figuring out where to go, what to look for, that could be a lot. So we're going to start with going on the website lsac.org. Now, when you get onto that website, you'll see it says login as. You would be scrolling over to JD account. Now, JD means Juris Doctorate, which is the account you would most likely be trying to achieve, which is the degree you would most likely be trying to achieve if you're applying to law school. Some people do go for LLM. They also have a tab for that as well. So you would click on JD account, then it would bring you over to where it says sign in. So if you already have an account like I do, you would press sign in, but if you don't, you would scroll down to where it says sign up now. So sign up now is actually fairly simple. I actually like their sign up. It's your username, so you create a username, the password, which they have their guidelines there, your email, and your first and last name. And then of course you could read the legal notice and click accept. So once you have that account set up, it'll send you an email, of course, to confirm. And when you receive that email and you log in, I'm going to sign in now. So the first tip with this website is if you're a Mac user, don't use Safari. Safari tends to crash during this. I don't exactly know what's the deal with why Safari isn't compatible with a lot of software, but it's definitely not for LSAC. So any law school related things, don't use Safari. Don't use it for your LSAT Flex. Don't use it during the application process. Just frankly, don't use it. So right now I'm using Chrome. I have also used Firefox and other web browsers that work fine with it. So as soon as you log on, you're taken straight to the home page. The home page has a tab that says register for the LSAT. So that, of course, is something you definitely need to do. When you've studied and you feel like you're ready, that's where you would go. So as soon as you click on register for the LSAT, it gives you all the guidelines, the candidate agreement, and when you press agree, it'll give you the step-by-step what you need to do, what you need to have when you take it. So if you guys are interested in a video on the LSAT from start to finish, so like where to study, what to study, and everything in between, please drop a comment below, like and share this video. The next tab on the home page is LSAT Writing. So now the LSAT Writing section is given at home. You could take it the same day as your exam. You could take it, I believe, up to a year after, or you just have to take it before the cycle that you're applying to. So for your application to be valid, they have to have a writing supplement on the site. So next says credentials and CAS. So that is something that threw me off when I first got this website, because I'm like, where do I upload my transcript? Like I'm confused. What is this? Why do I have to pay extra money for this? So what it seems like is that, of course, because law school is a graduate level degree and there are a lot of international students and students of all different calibers from different institutions, that is the software that LSAC uses to translate their transcripts. So you have to pay a fee. I believe it's around $200. I'll definitely put in the description box how much that costs. You, of course, could also apply for a fee waiver, and if you qualify for it, that fee is taken care of. And that's just basically where you would go to upload your transcript. It shows you your status. It shows you where to manage your LORs, which is your letters of recommendation, and just most of the important information is in that section. So let's take a brief second to look through that section. Now, the first thing I see is transcript status / add institutions. So you could go there, add an institution, and by that, it's meaning, of course, your college, but every college. So myself, I went to 2 different colleges, a community and then a 4-year. I had to upload my transcript from both. And then it tells you the status of that. So for a long time, I said 1 of 2. And it said 1 of 2 because I disclosed that I went to a college prior, but I did not have that transcript yet. So they need, of course, an official transcript. So you would go to your school, you would pay the fee. Some schools do it for free. Some schools it's like $5, $10. And then they send it directly to LSAC. It's very timely. I honestly believe my first transcript took maybe like 2 weeks, and the second one took like 2 days. So it wasn't that bad. So now going back, you also see LSAC fee waiver information. That's where you gain all the information you need on how to obtain the fee waiver when you qualify, how to fight if you do not qualify, because of course they'll hear you out if you could prove that you do need the assistance. The next section is manage LORs. So LORs, like I mentioned before, is letters of recommendation. This section was also great. So it gives you a slot to type in your professor or your employer's email address. Then it sends them the guidelines that they need to write your letters of recommendation. They send it straight to the site. So the one thing that sucks is that, of course, you don't get to read it. I know some people in academia, they'll give you a copy. I wasn't that lucky. I just had to ask a bunch of people that I knew I was close to on a professional level, but that also knew me as a person, and just hope for the best. So yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I would always advise to ask more than one person. Many schools want 2 letters of recommendation. Some schools take up to 4. It all depends. So you could ask as multiple professors, multiple employers or past employers, and then that's where they would send it. This also gives you a part to assign where it's going. So I didn't do this prior to the application. I kind of just said, okay, I know this person has this experience, this person has that, let me put this person here. And it was kind of all over the place, but the website does give you a way to maneuver that. You're like, okay, let me add this person here. For future reference, I want to add that professor there. And that's extremely helpful. So now going back to the home page, there's also a section called Search for Schools. So Search for Schools, of course, shows you member schools, so members of LSAC, and non-member schools. So that's great that it has both. In my experience being in the US and applying to only American schools, all the institutions I was interested in were on the site. They were members. So it wasn't an issue. So I usually just click Search Official Guide. So that's where you could definitely type in your GPA and your LSAT score. Now, if you don't have an LSAT score, you could give it a ballpark. So let's say you're like, okay, this is gonna be my first time. Maybe I'll get a 150. So you type in 150, let's say your GPA is 3.0. Then when you type in 3.0, 150, and you click search now, it'll show you all the institutions available and where that score will get you. So it'll tell you your likelihood of getting in. It'll tell you what the median GPA is, the median LSAT score, and where you fall on that list. So now going back to that section, of course, when you have your official scores, you could plug that in. Or even if you're taking practice tests and you're like, okay, I've been scoring a 170, let me type that in. Or I've been scoring a 130, let me type that in. Or if you're currently in undergraduate year and you're like, my cumulative score right now is a 3.5. You could type in 3.5 because this is not keeping track of that. It's not keeping a record of what you type in. It's just there as an aid. It's just there to help you out. So when you scroll below and you see like geographical searches, key searches, alphabetical, you could search this website in any way. Like it's super accessible. You could figure out anything you need to know from this website alone. So now going back to the home, the next tab is Khan LSAT Prep Free. So I did not use Khan Academy to study for the LSAT. I know a lot of people do. A lot of people say it's a great source and it's free. That's the best part. It's free. You can't go wrong. It's free 99. So yeah, so you could definitely check that out. So now I'm going to be scrolling down. So the next section says account profile, so that's where you receive your general forms and so on. Then it'll show you your LSAT registrations. So that'll show you what's pending. So if you registered for an exam, let's say you register for the September exam, it'll say September exam. It'll tell you your location, or if it's a flex, it'll tell you flex. So then scrolling further down, you see, of course, the CAS. And this is basically what I went through before, but now it's all right there. So just the homepage alone is amazing because it breaks down every little part. It says when you purchased it, it says how many transcripts you have, how many letters of recommendations, and then below it says who they've received it from. So it'll say recommender, Dr. So-and-so, Professor so-and-so, Jane Doe, or whoever. It'll tell you this person sent it, this person sent it. Then below that, you have the fee waiver section. So if you were approved, your fee waiver will say approved, or it'll say, of course, pending, or find more information here, or so on or so forth. Below that, you have applying to law school. So this is where it'll tell you what law schools you're applying to. So it'll say, for like mine says 23 law schools on your list, which means that I'm interested in 23 schools. It doesn't mean I've applied there, it just means those are the schools that I've checked on my list. So then there's also my school list. When you click on that, you could scroll down and see all the schools. You could see what their applications look like. What I did is that I knew I had started my application process too late. So I opened up every application. I'm like, okay, let me start working on it for the following year. It's because most of the prompts stay the same. So I thought it was great. I didn't have to submit. I could still wait, but I get an idea of what is expected. So now going back to that same section, it also shows you active applications and completed applications. So active, of course, means these are the applications you're working on. What was great last year is that I knew when I clicked on those that they should not have been there. So I was able to delete anything before it was like automatically sent off or anything and it became an issue, because it showed me that, hey, you opened this application, this is currently active. And completed applications will tell you these are the applications that were sent off. Below that section is future forum registrations. So future forum registrations is something that I actually overlooked for a long time until I was looking for more information on certain schools. So I wanted to go on tours, I wanted to talk to admissions counselors, I wanted to talk to any representative from any school that I thought might fit me, but I could not fly around. Some people do have that luxury where they're like, okay, I'm just gonna take a trip here. The closest thing I could do was take a trip to maybe a state over, but that was about it. So that's what I did. I went and I found out that LSAC hosts these events, these seminars where tons of schools come in and you could walk around and talk to them, but they also give you tons of information on how to apply, what resources are available, things, everything under the sun when it comes to going to law school. So that section, when you click register/view forums, it'll tell you what forums are coming up. Like right now it says there's a September digital forum. I went to a forum back in July and it was in the state over. So what I did is I scrolled through and I said, okay, I can't go there, definitely can't go there. This one might work. And I joined, and then of course it tells you if you can't make it to like un-RSVP and so on. But I was able to make it, so that was pretty great. And then it actually sent me an email saying, hey, there's a forum in your area soon. So then I also registered for that one, and I went like, I want to say 4 months later when everything started to calm down, and I was like, okay, so this is perfect. So now the last section that I want to talk about is the top right-hand corner where it says My Account. So My Account, of course, is almost a breakdown of the same things. It shows you your transaction summaries, your package summaries, fee waiver, calendar, pre-law, everything. So that's a great way to find anything that you've missed. So if you're like going through the website still and you're like, okay, I definitely need to find out this, Google isn't helping me with that, check that section out. And underneath, it will say your name and your LSAC number. So that is super important. I found out that you should put that above anything you're submitting to a school. So if it's your personal statement, your diversity statement and addenda, you need to put that number because that's how schools track you. Of course, they want to know your name, they want to know about you, but they also have thousands of applicants, hundreds of applicants. So putting that number allows them to go on the LSAC website and say, okay, oh, this person got this LSAT score, this person has this GPA. Okay, this is how we're going to rate this person. So all in all, that's about it when it comes to the website. If anyone has any further questions, if you want to find out information on how to get a waiver, other resources that will help you pay for these services, how to pick a school, anything of that nature, comment below. I have no problem doing a video on any of those topics. I'd love to help as much as I can in any way that I can because I went through it and it was an ordeal and it definitely did not have to be. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe, please stay tuned. And if you haven't seen my last video, which I'll link right here, it's a book review on a book that I think is a great pre-law book. So please give it a chance, take a look. Thank you again.